Alright guys, so in the previous video we talked about muscular imbalance number 1. That's a pretty common thing, but even more common that I say is pretty much across the board is muscular imbalance number 2, which is basically what we call lower cross syndrome. So if you see here in blue, I have muscles that are basically just weak and need to be strengthened for a reason, and muscles that are overly tight. And these are the muscles, these especially the low back, the spinal erectors and the low back, and stuff that's associated with the hip region. These muscles are overly tight, and this is what's calling that, what I call badunkadunk look, where say this is the spine going up, it's giving that spine a kind of a hyperlordosis curvature, or going this way, and basically that's hiking up the butt that way, and then the front of the hip flexor, the front is being pulled down. So this is being rotated in that fashion, which is giving the person an overarch in their lower back, and looking like if you have a really large ass, or bigger than really it is. Not only is that giving that illusion, it's also extending the stomach, because as you see, this is curving this way. This now is gonna curve forward also, which gives you a protruding belly. And you could have a six-pack but have an extended belly. I suffer from this myself. That's why I find this very interesting. But basically, these muscles, which are basically your postural muscles, are overly tight. So there's certain things, like I always say, there's certain exercises that you shouldn't be doing. Anything like a hyper extension, which is to strengthen the low back and stuff like that, is not going to be your best option, because you're going to further facilitate or push yourself back down that path, go further down that path. So there's stuff like, basically you have weak butt cheeks. These things are not firing correctly, especially the glute maximus, which is one of the strongest muscles that we have. Along with the lower abdominis, with the transverse abdominis and stuff that's in the hip basin, the lower abs. This stuff is being shut off. So, obviously, like I talked about in the previous video, we have tonic muscles and phasic muscles, which just mean big words for weak and need to be strengthened, and tight, which needs to be stretched. So we need to stretch these guys and strengthen these guys. But not only is this because this happens because of posture, because of it could be an injury, it could be an injury, it could be a repetitive movement that you're doing that's further facilitating you down that path. But there's also a part of basically piss poor diet that, believe it or not, that pushes people into this, that helps people get into this, which is bad. And there's a term called visceral pneumatic inhibition. In big words, that just means that, just like, say, Christmas tree lights, the organs and our muscular system, along with our organs, are tied on the same neurological loop. So what that means is, muscles that are associated with the hip region, all across here, are all tied in with all the stuff that's pretty much going on in your organs, which sits here, which is a lot of stuff for digestion, specifically the colon, or large intestine. So what happens is, this stuff, because of poor diet, it could be processed foods, it could be gluten, it could be because of tap water. There's a lot of other things that are slipping my mind right now, but these things are inhibiting or causing the colon to be inflamed, which then your body shuts it off in a sense. And to be perfectly honest, you can be constipated and have low back issues because of that. So what happens is, you lose the neural drive, since these things are on the same, let's just say they're on the same loop, like this guy, and that could be a ab muscle, this could be your colon. And let's just say that this guy gets shut off. Well, just like kind of Christmas tree lights, when they go off, so does the rest of the loop. So what happens is, this guy, our nervous system, which drives us, or sends the impulse to that muscle to fire, it doesn't do it. It doesn't happen. And it doesn't work properly. So there's a lot of stuff. This is very, very common in people, and there is a opposite to this, which I'll get into in the further video. But this is muscular imbalance number 2. And it gets, you know, this is oversimplified like the other one, but this gets deep. And again, it's think badunkadunk or Donald Duck, where you have an extended stomach and a hyper back. Makes you look like you have a big butt. And in the future, I'm going to get into videos of how we go along, what physically we have to do, what exercises we need to do to strengthen these guys, and what we need to stretch these guys. But feel free to leave any comments. I hope this info was useful to you, and it makes you think outside the box of what's really going on when you're training. Later.